Lewis Hamilton, 7 world championships, more wins than we have hot dinners, and a pole position record that's just showing off. This guy's a living legend, bending physics and race strategy to his will, pulling off passes so audacious they should be illegal. Whether he's navigating a chaotic first lap or nursing ancient tires for 50 laps, Lewis is pure magic. He's the reason half of us started watching F1, turning the impossible into just another Sunday drive. But here's the funny bit. For all his calm, collected superstar aura, Lewis has a very human weakness. His post-race radio lamentations. When things go sideways, or a strategy call doesn't land perfectly, the inner child comes out, often with a theatrical flair. "This is so manipulated, man," he once declared, only to then win the race. Or those moments when he questions tactical decisions immediately after the flag, sounding like he's just discovered a grand conspiracy before later admitting it was probably fine. It's peak competitive frustration, loud and clear for the world to hear, revealing that even the GOAT can occasionally have a full-blown internal monologue aired for public consumption. It's like us complaining about traffic on the way to work, only it's a global broadcast and he's driving a $1 million car. You gotta love the drama. Max Verstappen, the reigning champion, a human-shaped force of pure unfiltered speed. From winning his first Red Bull race at 18 to dominating the grid, Max is the guy who makes sending it an Olympic sport. His overtakes are so bold they should come with a parental advisory sticker, and his mental game is tougher than a $2 steak. He just finds a way to win, even if it means scaring his engineers half to death with his commitment. Max isn't just fast. He's a relentless, win-at-all-costs missile. However, even the most dominant driver has a button that, once pressed, unleashes a torrent of frustration, his impatience with anything less than perfection, especially from his team. A slow pit stop? Are we going to race or what? An unexpected strategy call? The radio lights up like a Christmas tree. Max wants to win, and he wants to win yesterday. His fiery passion, while integral to his speed, means any minor hiccup, any tiny deviation from his winning script, gets a very loud, very blunt airing. It's like watching a kid who got the wrong toy for Christmas, only the toy is a multi-million-dollar F1 car, and he's talking to a global audience. This isn't a flaw in his driving, but rather the sound of a driver whose competitive fire is so intense, it occasionally burns anyone within earshot of his headset. Charles Leclerc, the Monegasque prodigy, a qualifying god who makes a Ferrari sing like an opera star on Saturdays. He's got raw pace for days, a flair behind the wheel that's pure art, and he can wring a qualifying lap out of a car that makes you wonder if he's got secret nitrous in the fuel tank. When Charles is on, he's unstoppable, a pole position machine who makes the Tifosi weep with joy. He's genuinely one of the most exciting talents to watch on the grid. But if we're being brutally honest about Chuck's Achilles heel, it's his tendency for overdriving, or let's call it passionately exceeding the car's capabilities. Charles wants to win so badly, he'll try to extract 110% from the car, even when it's only got 95% to give. Remember France 2022, when he spun out of the lead all by himself? Or those little kisses with barriers that leave everyone collectively groaning? It's not a lack of skill, it's an excess of competitive spirit that sometimes makes him push just a tad too hard, leading to those head and hands moments. He's like that friend who tries to sprint the whole marathon, then wonders why they collapsed at mile 20. Bless his heart, he just wants it that much. Fernando Alonso, 2-time world champion, a man who's been around F1 longer than some team principals have been alive, and still drives like a teenager who just stole his dad's car. His racecraft is legendary, his tire management witchcraft, and he can outthink rivals while simultaneously complaining about his engine. Nando is a master tactician, a cunning overtaker, and arguably the most resilient driver in F1 history. He simply refuses to give up. Now, for Fernando's weakness, his unfiltered, brutally honest, and often hilarious assessments of his team and machinery. If his car is a GP2 engine, the world will know. If his team makes a questionable call, He's not shy about pointing out their philosophical errors live on air. This directness, while refreshing for fans tired of corporate speak, has occasionally led to more drama off track than on it. He's the guy who tells you your outfit is terrible, not because he's mean, but because he genuinely believes you deserve to know the truth. It's less about malice and more about a pathological inability to sugarcoat anything, which has occasionally turned team radio into an unfiltered stand-up routine at the expense of his own team's PR department. Nico Hülkenberg, a veteran of the grid, known for his raw speed, his qualifying prowess, and his unflappable nature. He's been a dependable point scorer for numerous teams over the years, a driver who can get the most out of a car and rarely makes a simple error. He's the ultimate professional, the kind of driver every team loves to have for his consistency and experience. However, for all his talent and career longevity, his most famous weakness is a glaring statistical anomaly. He holds the record for the most Grand Prix starts without ever finishing on the podium. It's a bizarre and frustrating fact that has haunted his career, a kind of motorsport jinx that seems to strike just as he gets close. Whether it was a crash, a mechanical failure, or a botched strategy call, fate has always conspired against him at the last moment. Carlos Sainz, the smooth operator, a driver whose nickname perfectly captures his calculated and consistent approach. He's known for his meticulous preparation, his ability to bring home solid points, and a professional, no-nonsense attitude. He's a team player who can be relied upon to deliver a strong, steady performance, making him a highly valued asset to any team. His intelligence and racecraft have seen him win races and consistently challenge at the front. He's the guy who always has a plan and rarely makes a dramatic mistake. His weakness, however, is sometimes the flip side of that same coin, a lack of spontaneous, aggressive flair that can be the difference between a podium and a win, while his consistency is his greatest strength. There are times when he doesn't have the same send-it mentality of a Max Verstappen or the raw, unhinged pace of a Charles Leclerc. This can sometimes make him vulnerable in a high-stakes, wheel-to-wheel brawl where a driver needs to throw caution to the wind. He's the master of the well-executed strategy, but occasionally lacks the chaotic, unpredictable brilliance needed to steal a victory from a dominant rival. Lando Norris, the British sensation, equally famous for his blinding speed as he is for his infectious giggle and his meme lord antics. Lando is blisteringly quick over a single lap, super consistent in races, and a bona fide superstar in the making. He's got a smooth driving style that just looks right, and he can often drag a car further up the grid than it probably deserves. Plus, he's the guy who makes F1 feel like hanging out with your mates. But if we're picking at the threads, especially in his earlier career, Lando's weakness was sometimes his too nice approach to wheel-to-wheel combat. While his clean racing is commendable, there were moments where he seemed to pull out of a daring move or yield position a little too easily, perhaps out of politeness. Compared to the send-it or crash-it's mentality of some rivals, Lando occasionally looked like he was bringing a polite tea party to a cage fight. He's learned to sharpen those elbows considerably now, but early on, you could almost hear him saying, "After you," mid-corner. It's the charming paradox of a driver so talented, he almost had to learn how to be a little bit mean to truly conquer the F1 world. George Russell, Mr. Saturday in his Williams days, now a Grand Prix winner with Mercedes, proving he's got the talent to hang with the big boys. George is meticulous, incredibly consistent, and has a knack for squeezing every single drop of performance out of a car. He's the textbook definition of a modern F1 driver, fast, intelligent, and always pushing the limits of data analysis. When he puts a lap together, it's a thing of beauty. However, for all his precision, George has a particular weakness that provides endless entertainment. His hyper-optimistic, sometimes comically dramatic radio calls about minor car issues. "I'm losing so much power," he might declare when his lap times are barely dropping, or "the tires are absolutely gone, guys, gone," as he proceeds to set a personal best. It's not a complaint, it's just George being George, a perfectionist who communicates every tiny perceived imperfection with the urgency of a five-alarm fire. He's the guy who'll tell you his coffee is undrinkable, even though he's already had half of it. This isn't about pace, but about a highly strung, intensely focused mind amplifying every little struggle, making his team radio a truly unique performance.